You're listening to 8158 Stories of Sacrifice, where we honor the bravery of the first responders and the families who stand behind them. Real people, real stories, real heroes. This is 8158. Welcome back to another episode of 8158 Podcast Stories of Sacrifice. Today's guest, we have Frankie, and she is a dispatcher. 911 dispatcher. How's it going, Frankie?
Good. How are you?
Oh, it's fantastic. It is going good. The weather is nice, and I will be enjoying the pool here shortly.
Lucky.
That's pretty awesome. Okay, so tell me a little bit about yourself. So what inspired you and what got you into wanting to be a dispatcher?
So I am actually from a family of first responders. My grandpa was a Marine. My grandma worked as a nurse, and my dad has been in law enforcement for like 20 something years now. Him and my mom met in the police academy. My mom's an EMT for the company that I actually work at. And then I have other uncles that are law enforcement as well. So it's pretty much been like everything that I know. And I was very much taught by my mom and my dad that you help others in any way you can, even if you can only do a little bit. If you can help, there's no question about it. No ifs, ands, or buts, you should. I just never knew in like what way I wanted to help. And then my mom had proposed the idea of dispatching to me, and I tried it, and I've been doing it since.
All right. So circling back, now that you have an entire family of first responders, what was life like for you living in a household with first responders and growing up in that kind of environment?
Very different than my friends at school. I've always been used to holidays celebrated not on the actual holiday. I played sports growing up, mainly basketball, and I got very much used to, my dad not being at my games because he's either at work. He actually wasn't able to make it to my high school graduation because he got pulled for the protests during 2020. So I ended up walking across the stage with a blue line flag folded up, and that was my way of having my dad there with me. So it's a lot of learning to adapt to the demands of the job and just understanding that this is this person's calling. This is what they were made for, and you love them either way. So you learn to go with it, basically. And there's definitely pros and cons, but I always felt the pros more than the cons. I learned helpful tips from my dad and my mom in terms of how to keep us safe, tips, tricks, things to remember. I mean, it's not every day like a 9, 10-year-old is getting told, hey, if you get kidnapped and you get put in a trunk, like kick out the tail light, do this, do that. But I mean, it is something that they should know and that I plan on teaching my daughter when she gets around that age. Yeah, the main thing is just kind of learning to adapt.
So now, had you ever experienced any of the weight that your parents had carried having to deal with that line of work? Because I know that it is very stressful and it can be trying, and that uh, a lot of first responders go through a lot of traumatic events. So, did they bring any of that home to you, or did they shield you from that kind of, what do you say,
The
the
heaviness of
heaviness
it.
of it? Yeah, the weight of it.
Yeah, it was definitely a learning curve. Some events are obviously harder than not, but we definitely felt it. my dad really struggled with learning how to turn work mode off and being able to turn dad mode on. We also had lots of personal traumatic events. Uh, I had a lot of family members and unfortunately friends around my age that passed away in numerous different ways, by gun violence, by drugs, by I had one of my childhood best friends passed away when she was 15. She was sick, just like a common cold, but she
She
tore a
tore a
pin-sized hole
pin-sized
in her
hole in her
stomach
stomach
lining
lining.
that basically killed her in her sleep. And I was only like 14. So we've had lots of trauma and things growing up that essentially helped when we did feel the work side of it. It was almost like we were kind of used to it. But my mom did really, really good job at, in a way, shielding us and teaching us it's not you. This is what it is. This is how we can help dad right now. And so, again, you learn to adapt, and it did suck from time to time. I mean, there was one day that my dad got shot at and almost ran over, and then a few hours later drove to my basketball games. And he wasn't super energetic, but I was just happy that he was there, and I knew that it was a really rough night at work, so I didn't take any personal offense to it. I kept the same energy, went up and I hugged him, you know, wasn't mad like, "Oh, why aren't you cheering?" Like, I get it, you know? He was doing the best that he could, and I was taking whatever I could get because that was all he could give right there, and I was more than okay with it.
Right. Yeah, he definitely was carrying the weight. So now you had started getting into the role of a dispatcher, and you obviously had your inspiration because you had a myriad of family members that were a part of the first responder world and that culture. Have you yourself personally dealt with anything with the job that had caused you to like have second thoughts or maybe rethink your life decisions? 'Cause I know sometimes dispatchers have a very hard job. I know that. So we hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've mainly done IFT, but I had about a year of 911. And for the most part, it was pretty okay. We live the county that I did. It was very, very small. Not a whole lot of like super high crime rates, but a lot of vehicle accidents. And I had one where my agency we did police and medical, but we're different from CHP, California Highway Patrol. And so if we get a car accident, if it's non-injury, we'll transfer it over to CHP. We got a call, and the first one that I got from it was she was like the third car involved. So she was like, "These two cars just crashed in front of me. I am involved because I hit like this other one." But she's like, "I'm okay. I'm not hurt." Okay, let me transfer her to CHP. We immediately already started sending units because she did say two others were involved and it looked bad. So we were getting that ready already going. One of my partners got another call. I got like the third call, and this one was a transfer from CHP. And all she said was HP with a transfer for an accident, 17-year-old male cut in half at the stomach. And then she dropped it. So then I didn't get like location, I didn't get any more details than that. And now I have a 17-year-old screaming on the phone begging for help. You know, it's my cousin, save my cousin. And I'm trying to ask him, like, okay, who's hurt? What is this cut in half? What's bleeding? And it was just screaming, just not getting through to him, not getting the details. all I can get through to him is put pressure, like, "Do you have something to stop the bleeding?" Like, anything, your shirt, anything in your car, and they were both 17 years old. Thankfully, I was not on the phone with him for that long, and one of the firemen, took the phone, let me know who it was, and all he said was, "Send me 2 more ground and 1 air. It's bad." And I was like, "Okay." Then found out that the 17-year-old did not make it. Um, the one that was his cousin, the driver made it, but the passenger did not. And that happened right before I ended my shift. So, it was a total normal day, no crazy calls up until that, and I punched out, like, 5 minutes later, and I spent an hour in our gym just trying to, like, work that off, and I, drove to my grandparents to go pick up my daughter after that, and the road was still closed due to where the accident was at, and I still drive by where the accident site was every day on my way to drop off my daughter and on my way home. So that one was the first really, really bad one that's has stuck with me, and I haven't had, thankfully, a one like that since, but, that day it was very much, I've also lost, like, family friends to vehicle accidents, so it's one of those really, really frustrating things that's like, no matter how hard you advocate, no matter what you say, no matter what you teach, these are unfortunately one of the inevitable things that can take people away. And so it's very frustrating as a dispatcher to just continue to get things like that. And, it's just to also have to see it where it happened every day. It kind of makes moving on from it like kind of harder. It's just like a constant reminder, constant like reliving. And that actually happened a year ago, like 2 days ago.
It's unfortunate. Um, and how does that affect you mentally when you have to deal with that and you drive by these places and you're constantly reminded of all of these incidences that have happened?
The best thing you can do is just remember that you did what you could do. Like, you don't really have any other choice. You just gotta think I did what I could. Um, yeah, you just remind yourself I did what I could in that moment, and the next time the phone rings, I'm gonna continue to do the same. Because if you sit and you dwell on this is how this ended, what if this ends this way as well? I mean, you're gonna just go down that rabbit hole. The whole reason for being in this profession is I want to help. And so you just have to remind yourself, I'm going to use whatever tools I have, whatever I can do. And sometimes it really is just being that voice on the phone that says, still, the that's you can do.
Right. Yeah, there's only so many things that you can do in certain situations. And like you say, you can just do your best. Um, and obviously, it's affected you in some way, but you are dealing with it
Mhm.
in a healthy manner, which is great. It is an awesome thing to be able to handle those situations. How long have you been a part of the first responder world?
Ooh, since January of 2022.
That's still got a few years in you.
Mhm.
Yeah, you got a lot more to go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty awesome. And overall, do you like doing what you do?
Love it. I can't imagine doing anything else. I started coaching basketball when I was like 12, 13 years old. So I've just always loved finding ways that I can like help people and sharing knowledge, just seeing growth and like being a part of something that's bigger than yourself. being in an environment where you rely on teamwork and you know that there's people there that have your back and you're in it together and you guys are working towards this bigger goal. It's like I can't imagine doing anything else. I can't imagine wanting to do anything else. And I can't think of like a higher calling than just wanting to dedicate your life to helping people.
That is definitely admirable, and it is amazing. We definitely need our dispatchers. They are a crucial part of the first responder network because without dispatchers, how are they supposed to know where to go in a crisis? You know what I mean? And I know that a lot of people don't refer to dispatchers as first responders, but we believe that dispatchers are the first responder. They are the first
Yeah.
one that is contacted before any calls go out. So
Yeah,
you're like
that's
the
definitely
first
a
one.
fun debate to get into.
I can imagine people want to debate you. I mean, what kind of conversations do you have with people when it comes to that uh, scenario? Like people saying that you're not a first responder.
In their head, it's always, well, you're not the first one on scene. I'm like, okay, well, we're not called first on sceners. We're called first responders. When you when you call 911, you're not talking to the officer. You're not talking to a paramedic. You're not talking to the firefighter. You call 911, you're going to talk to a dispatcher. And then they're going to talk to whoever you need to respond. They would not know where to go 98% of the time unless I told them. So, I mean, if you want to say, oh, well, you're not the first one to show up on scene, you're right. I'm not the first on scener. I did not say I was, but I am the first responder because, hello, 911, what's your emergency? How much more first can it get than that? So it's just, I think a lot of people really just have a misunderstanding, some miscommunication between how they view it. But I mean, plain and simple, it's you pick up the phone, the dispatcher's could be the one that's answering it. That is the first response you're gonna get.
Right. That is the first response because they call you, you answer the phone, and then you
Yep.
direct the officers or fire or EMS exactly where the incident is going on.
Yeah, whatever's happening, I gotta tell them where to go.
Right, you're coordinating the whole thing. So yeah, so you're basically you're coordinating all of this stuff, especially when you
Yep.
have like shootings and all that stuff, and you're coordinating all the officers. You're basically getting officers in touch with each other and kind of
Mhm.
providing information as best as you can get it, and you're releasing that information to the officers that need that information. So yeah, you are the first responder.
Mhm, mhm.
I mean, that's the way I see it.
Yeah, and I mean, every other person in the first responding community, they're always our biggest advocates. They're like, "I don't know where to go unless dispatch tells me. I don't know what's happening unless dispatch tells me." Like, they are our first responders. It's people who, for the most part, people who are not in the first responding community that wanna have that debate, that dispatchers, "Oh, they're just in the background. They just sit down and watch TV and answer the phones every once in a while." And it's like, actually, we're on and off the phone. I'm on the radio. My food has been cold for 2 hours. Last time I got to go to the bathroom, couldn't tell you.
Yeah, it's
There's a
not
there's a
the
very
way
big
they think it is.
misunderstanding.
Yeah, it's not the way they think it is. My foster dad, he was a police officer. He still is. He took me into the dispatch center one time, and them gals in there, they were just constantly like going crazy.
Yeah.
I know that they got their jobs cut out for them. So
Yeah, my mom, she like I said, she works for the same company that I do, and there's been times where she will walk into the dispatch center when it's, like, real, real busy, and she straight up just turned around and walked out. She's like, "I can't be in there when it's like that." She's like, "I don't know how you guys handle that. There's so much noise. You can't understand anything anybody's saying." But, I mean, to us, you learn how to have a, like, split ear, a dispatcher ear. It's and at the same time that you're hearing everything, you're selective with it. I'm paying attention to what voices I need, what conversation I do need to be hearing, plus my radio, plus if I'm on the phone. I had, actually I had a few requests to do this, and I finally posted a video on, you guys had Sarah on a little bit ago on our first responder training group page. I'd finally been able to put together a video that showed it was just like a really small clip, but it showed all the background noise, how loud it can be while I'm on the phone and I'm dispatching something. I'm on the phone and I'm listening to like what they're saying. And it was real small clip, but I'm like, that's pretty much it for hours on end.
Chaos at its best, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. All the time.
So you were talking about the split ear. What goes on in how does that work? Can you explain that to me? How does that split ear work? Does that
Yes, that is another thing people ask a lot when I say that. Um, so when I was doing, it's a little bit different here than when I was at 911. But 911, I basically have an earpiece in, and then I have a mic connected to it. So if I'm not on the phone, my radio traffic is going to come through there. If I'm on the phone and it's going through there, we have little speaker boxes. So I have one for my law radio and then one for my medics. And so if I'm on the phone and I'm taking a call, I can push my foot pedal and it'll mute my mic for the phone call and it'll go through to my radio. And so if I'm on that phone call and I'm hearing something, but I have officers that are coming up on a traffic stop or they're arriving on scene for a call, I need to be able to hear what this person on 911 is still telling me, but making sure I'm understanding, like, okay, they just went code 4 and I still need to parrot that back to them. Oh, medics on scene, 10-4 medic, 24 on scene, 1934. Okay, ma'am, and you said this person was wearing a red hat. In that at the same time, like, you need to be it's really hard skill to develop, but you need to be able to hear both, and you're not gonna hear exactly every single word that both people are saying. That's just no matter how good you get, that's just gonna be impossible, right? But you can hear every other couple words, like male, red, hat, when I'm hearing my radio come up for the medics, I'm listening for the identifier and the main thing of what they're saying. On scene, medic, whatever their identifier is. Okay, at that point, you kind of go into autopilot mode of your response back because you do it so much that it's just autopilot right there. So in a way, it's a little bit easier to maybe give it like 40% energy and like 60% energy of like listening to this. So it's kind of just like a rhythm that you got to get with law enforcement. It's a little bit harder. Give about 90% attention to that, 10% attention to my caller because in a split second, they could be going code 4 and then zero point 0.5 seconds later, somebody's, trying to attack them or something. And I really need to be able to hear that. So it's really just learning about getting into the rhythm of things and feeling that kind of just that pattern of like what you're always used to doing. It's kind of like muscle memory in a way. But then also you have to, and it's just crazy. Like people don't realize that dispatchers have to think about this stuff that much. Who's talking to me? What call are they on? If they're already on scene, okay, their next transmission should be that they're going to be transporting. Or if it's a deputy, 1 minute he was en route. Okay, so the next time he's coming up, he's probably going to be on scene. I really need to pay attention to that. I really need to make sure he's going code 4. Um, and so it's basically selective hearing at its finest.
okay? So you're basically taking pertinent information and just delivering that pertinent information. So it's kind of like shorthand. So you're writing in
Mhm.
shorthand. So you're listening in shorthand.
Yes.
You're
Yeah,
just
yeah.
delivering the pertinent information to wherever it needs to go. That
Mhm.
is a very uh, hard feat. I mean, I don't think I could do that.
it's definitely a skill that takes time to develop, and not everyone can do it, and it can get very frustrating. Thankfully, the dispatch centers that I worked at, we have a playback option. So if it's like a really, high priority 911 call, or I'm giving medical instructions over the phone and I didn't have a second to just hear what they said, I can tell my caller, give me 1 second, and I can like replay it because there are times where you just can't do it. So thankfully, you do have that option of replaying it and being able to, try and get what they said a second time. Other times, you got amazing partners that, uh, in a dispatch center, that's another thing. It's another part of a dispatcher ear is being able to hear what the other dispatchers have going on. So if she's like, oh man, she's giving CPR over the phone right now, let me go ahead and I'll answer her medics. Or, oh, there's another call for her medics. Let me dispatch that out for her while she's giving CPR instructions. So that's another aspect of the teamwork and everybody working together is, oh, I'm chilling over here at my station, but my partner's got a lot going on over there. I'm gonna tag in and like, we'll just tag team it. We'll work together. I'll help her out while she's doing that because that's a little bit more high intense to where she does need to give more attention. And this is like a simple little copy that I can give for her.
Oof, that's a lot of work. I don't know how you do it. That's amazing. So, dealing with all that, have you ever thought of doing anything else in the first responder world in the future,
Mhm.
or are you sticking with what you're doing now?
I, me personally, I am good where I'm at. I've had plenty of requests from my units to go out in the field with them. My mom has been begging me to go to EMT school for years. I've had requested that I should go to the law enforcement side. And it's like, I'm gonna be honest, you guys, for both sides, nobody wants that. Nobody actually wants that, guys. I promise I am like much better where I'm at right here.
So you like it that much, you just wanna stick with it, and you
Yeah,
don't have
I
any
honestly
plans for the
couldn't
future like that?
imagine doing anything else.
When we first started this podcast, we had a gal, she was a dispatcher, but her initial job was she was a firefighter paramedic, and
Mm.
unfortunately, her career as a firefighter was ended because of a car accident. No fault of hers, but somebody had, T-boned her, and she could not do that job anymore, so she still wanted to help, and she went into dispatch, which she loves it. She loves doing the job, and, she's still doing it today.
I mean, yeah, we could always use more dispatchers.
Yeah, it seems like it, dispatchers are very short and far few between. I know that, when we started the podcast because of my cousin, it was like a week after he had passed or he was taken from us, one of the Hillsdale County dispatchers had passed away from cancer, and it was a sad day because, the community was a very small rural community, so everybody knows everybody, and it was sad to see that, but, it was an amazing experience, though, to see everybody come together the way that they do, you know?
Yeah, it is
And
always really nice having those moments that kind of like restore your faith in humanity. And you're like, yeah, we do got good people.
yeah, absolutely, and it lets you know that you're not alone, and it doesn't matter whether the community comes together or if you're going through a mental health crisis, there are always somebody there that will be there to help you, whether they're a first responder or somebody that is a supporting first responder or anything like that. They're always there to be there to help you. I mean, that's what we do here on the podcast. It's not just to get your story. It's just to not just that, but we try to get your story out there so everybody knows that is in that world that they are not alone in the job. They
Mhm.
are not the only ones that are going through things, and that there are other people out there so they can relate and say, okay, they're not alone. This is how they dealt with it. So maybe I can do something to maybe deal with this same situation in a better aspect, because unfortunately, we hear a lot about, first responders, suicides, and all this stuff, which is disheartening. And that's something that we are trying to battle against is we don't want our first responders to do that to themselves. They have families, people that love them and care about
Mhm.
them, and mental health is obviously a huge issue when it comes to the first responder world as well. So that's
Yeah.
another thing that we are combating, and we are trying to get together with other first responders and mental health specialists to help our first responders in that way too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely a it takes its toll, and then when you have those that don't understand the job, but think that they have an educated enough opinion on it, it can just be exhausting.
I can imagine. I mean, how do you feel after how long is your shift, first of all?
I work 12-hour shifts.
Okay, so you work a full 12-hour shift. So you got 12 on and 12 off. And um, how do you feel by the time you get home?
So, mine is a little fun. I work 3 to 4 12s in a row, and I live, like, an hour away. So so I work 7 to 7, but I'm typically up at, like, 4:15, 4:30 is, like, sleeping in a little bit for me. I get my daughter ready, and I go take her to my grandparents' house, who, thankfully for me, they watch her while I'm at work. And, then I drive, like, that's like a 15, 20-minute drive. I drive, like, another hour-ish to work a 12-hour shift, drive, like, another hour home to get her, another 15-minute drive there. And then, and I'm a single parent to an 3-year-old this week, actually. She turns 3 this week. So I don't get to turn her brain off to as soon as I'm home. I get to play with my dad. And then at that point, I'm so exhausted, it did not take that long for me to fall asleep. As soon as my head hits the pillow, I'm done. I'm done for the day, and then I get, like, about 5, 6 hours of sleep, and then I wake up and I work another 12. Some days are a little bit lighter, and if work was, knocking on wood, pretty good day, then, I have a little bit more energy to give my daughter at the end of the night, get to hang out, talk with her, play with her for a little bit. But unfortunately, like this past week, it was my long week, so I worked 4 days, and every single day it was nonstop. It was exhausting, and I mean, honestly, at the end of those days, I am happy that I have my hour drive because while it is an hour that I would like to be closer to home, I'm able to take that time to switch off work mode and turn on mom mode, which is something that learning from, watching my dad grow up, it was something that I worked on right away so that my daughter doesn't have to feel the effects that I didn't have to go through that learning curve like we did. Um, so as exhausting as it is, learning how to switch those modes and take advantage of that hour drive that I have has allowed me to give a little bit more of myself at the end of a long, long day. I mean, my daughter's excited to see me when I get home. She's been waiting all day. She knows what time I'm going to get there and whatnot. So I try my hardest not to let, no matter how tired I am from those 12-hour shifts, I try not to let her see that all the time.
Right. So that extra, well, it's an hour home. It gives you time to decompress
Hmm.
from the job, and hopefully, by the time you get to see your daughter, and obviously, when you see her, your whole demeanor and your whole day changes because
Oh,
obviously
Oh, 100%.
she's the center of your life, your child.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have
She
two
started,
girls.
oh, you do? Oh, what age? Am I about to make you feel really old right now?
Yeah. Let's see. One of them will be 29 and the other one will be 28.
Oh, they're
Oh.
really close.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I'm old.
Uh, yeah, no, those girls will definitely change your mood for sure. My daughter has started playing hide and seek. So when I get home, she hears my car pull up and she'll go find somewhere to hide. So, it's something that I get to look forward to every night is like I know that I'm gonna get there and she's trying her hardest to hide, but she's covering her mouth giggling so I can hear exactly where she's at. But she's thinking she's doing a good job and she's so excited. And so it's to be able to have something like that to look forward uh, to have as motivation to get out of that work mode mindset. Like I could not be more grateful for that.
We will return after this quick ad break.
The William H. Bill Butler Jr. Foundation is on a mission to honor first responders and support those who serve. We provide scholarships for families who have lost a hero in the line of duty, offer second chances to juvenile offenders who are working to rebuild their future, and help new recruits pursuing careers as first responders. Through generous donations and the sale of merchandise, we're building a community that uplifts, empowers, and creates lasting impact. You can be a part of this mission as well. Visit 8158podcast.com to donate or shop today. Together, we can support those who serve, honor those we've lost, and give hope to those who need it most. Behind every badge is a story, and behind every story is a sacrifice. This is the 8158 podcast, where we honor the lives and legacies of first responders and their families. If our mission speaks to your heart, if these stories move you like they move us, join us on Patreon. For just $5 a month, you'll get ad-free listening, exclusive merchandise, behind-the-scenes content, and video episodes only available to our patrons. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement, and you can be a part of it. Support us at patreon.com/8158podcast. Let's continue to share the stories that deserve to be heard. There's just something about that first cup of coffee. For a lot of us, it's not just a routine, it's a reset. Before the shift, after the call, or in those quiet moments when everything finally slows down. That's why we're proud to partner with Fully Involved Coffee, a brand built around something bigger than just caffeine. This is coffee for a cause. Fully Involved Coffee supports first responders, veterans, and the communities that stand behind them. Every bag, every cup is part of a mission to give back to those who serve. And the coffee itself is fire. Small batch roasted, high quality beans, bold enough to get you through long shifts, early mornings, and late nights. From strong, no nonsense roasts to smooth blends and even flavored options, plus tea if that's more your speed, they've got something for everyone. This isn't just good coffee, it's coffee with purpose. Head on over to 911gogojuice.com, use the promo code 8158 at checkout to support the mission and save on your order. And when you sign up for their monthly subscription, you'll get 10% off. So whether you're on duty, off duty, or just taking a moment to breathe, Fully Involved Coffee, brewed for those who serve and those who stand beside them.
That's an amazing thing to utilize that time. A lot of people don't get that opportunity to kinda decompress, and, I'm glad that you take that opportunity to kinda give yourself time to kinda switch from, the first responder mode to mom mode. That is a rare thing, because not a lot of children
Yeah.
are able to get that from their parents, especially when it comes to parents that are first responders.
Yeah, and I think like a really big thing is you always hear people talking about breaking the cycle, right? From being a child to then their transition into parent, whatever it may be. And it's a great goal to have, but you got to make sure that you're putting in the work. And I never really, growing up, ever thought that I would. It's like I had a great childhood. My parents were wonderful. Even with my dad being gone a lot because he had to work all the time, he still made sure that we took family vacations. He took us on trips. We were blessed enough to go on like cruises. And so my dad made sure that we knew that the hard work was going to pay off basically. He was like, I need you to be patient. I'm working hard for this. And then we're gonna get to be able to go and do all this, a week together uninterrupted and so I never saw any of it as like needing to break the cycle. But then when I had my daughter and I understood for myself what it was like to take like a heavy day of work home and you learn when your kids get to the toddler, even when they're a baby and they can feel your energy, you learn real quick and it's hard to be able to be like, oh yeah, I gotta put myself in check right here. They don't need to be feeling this. Then yeah, I did learn for myself, like, oh yeah, this is something I'm gonna work on because I remember feeling it as a kid and you know, I know that my dad never meant to, but, it was something that I wish that he had figured out sooner, so I'm gonna make sure that my daughter doesn't feel that way.
Children definitely are very sensitive to energy, and they could sense when something is not right, and they could feel the energy coming off of you, you know? And it's important not to emit that kind of negative energy towards your children. Not saying like you're doing anything bad. It's just like they can sense things, like
Yeah,
dogs,
yeah.
cats. They can sense your aura, your energy. They can sense a lot of things. They can't
And
understand
it's
or
been
comprehend it, but they can feel it.
it could be helpful, I found sometimes. There are times where she's, like, had super crazy energy, but I've been like, "Hey, like, this person's sad right now, like, let's bring it down or whatever," and, um, I mean, just a few weeks ago, I had one of my coworkers, she's a really good friend, she came over and we had, like, a whole girls' night, we got snacks with her, we did, like, movies, and the movie that we watched, it made me and my friend cry at the end, and my daughter was just eating her candy that we got that night, but she saw us crying and she walked over, grabbed tissues, and handed each of us a tissue. And she went, "It's okay." And so I had really struggled with that whole breaking the cycle, making sure she can't feel what I feel at like all times to then my two best friends. I grew up playing basketball with them. They're twins and they know me better than anybody else does. And they helped me learn how to go from yes, while making sure she doesn't feel too much of all that negative, whatever I'm feeling or something. It is also okay to show her other emotions aside from happiness and excitement. Like, show her that it is okay to cry from time to time. If you're mad, this is how you can take it out on a pillow. This is how you can, effectively direct that bad emotions or energy. And so, figuring all that out has been a challenge, but it's proving to be effective, which is really, really nice.
Right. Well, you definitely are doing a great job. And obviously your daughter, she picks up on a lot of that energy and she's very smart at her age. She brings you a
Thank you.
tissue. Thank you. And that's pretty kind. Kids are very, very genuine and kind. And obviously you're doing a great job raising this young lady. And that's pretty awesome. Especially,
Thank you.
doing the job that you're doing and having to commute and to come home and then having a very small amount of time to spend with her before you have to go back to do the job again.
Yeah, thankfully, I actually started doing this right before I had her. This type of schedule, it's all she's ever known. So she does know that, all right, these next few days in a row, mom's got to go to work. And then I'm blessed to be able to have 3 to 4 days off a week. And, she knows that she just gotta hang in there, and then we get to go we're in walking distance to our park. We get to go walk right across the street, and we have a park. I'll take her to go walk. We'll walk to the ice cream shop. We'll get she knows that we'll get time to go out and do things, and so she's very, very good at being patient when it's a work week. Hasn't had a choice, but she's learned to adapt to it.
That's pretty awesome. So, how do you see that family dynamic? Because obviously she's gonna get older, and how do you see that family dynamic doing this job?
Oof. I mean, I hope I make her proud. I remember I was always super proud being able to say, like, yeah, my dad's a cop. My grandpa was a Marine. My grandma did this. My mom does that. I still say all of that with pride. On those hard days when, you do kind of question if this is something you want to stick with and whatnot, or if it was after a hard day of work, I do just remind myself this is a job that I'm proud of. This is a job that I hope my daughter's going to be proud of, that she can grow up. And it's also, I've learned so many helpful things so that when my daughter grows up, hey, if this ever happens and you have to call 911, you can do this, and this. If you and your friends, no matter where you are, if you're ever in danger, just from things that my parents taught me, things that I've learned from my job, myself, um, I think just growing up, I hope that she is able to take away just learning how to be so patient and adaptable to things, but also learning that the most important thing that you can do in the world is to help other people and to just take that with her. I'm so blessed that she's able to spend all this time with my grandparents because those are her great grandparents. And I, unfortunately, myself did not get to spend a lot of time with my great grandparents. I remember my two great grandmas from when I was little, but it wasn't as much as like she's getting with them. And they're still going pretty strong too. So I'm very thankful for the relationship that she has with both of them. And I mean, she loves that my mom's an EMT. She loves to see her Gigi and get to visit her at work from time to time. Um, and I mean, so far she's just done amazing with it. And I just kind of like to see her grow even more as we continue to do this and, hopefully continue to make her proud. We'll see.
I was kinda curious, do you think that since your daughter is exposed to this first responder world, do you think that she might wanna get involved in the same thing? Like, whether it's law enforcement, fire, EMS, or dispatch?
I think that would be really, really cool. I mean, by all means, she can do as she pleases, but I think that it would be amazing to see what she chooses because she is already such an empathetic person and she is always asking to help. You're doing the dishes, she wants to help. You're picking something up and she's like, "No, I'll do it. I want to do it. Like, I'll help you." She sees like a little kid fall at the park and they're crying. She has no idea who this kid is, but she's going up and she's like, "Are you okay? It's okay. Don't cry. Come play with me over here." And so already she's just so friendly, so kind, and is just showing that she kind of just wants to help already. So I would be not surprised, but very happy if she chose to do something. In terms of what it is yet, she sees blood and she goes, ew. So I don't know necessarily about EMS, but she likes to play dress up as a cop. My nephew had like a little costume and that she likes to play with now. If she hears any type of sirens, no matter what we're doing, she has to go, the wee woos. And she runs outside to try and see like what it is. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
She might be like her grandpa.
She might, she is a papa's girl.
Well, she just might be in law enforcement. You never know.
Yeah. And she
I
loves my grandpa has a service dog, a German Shepherd. And if you ask that kid, that is her dog. So who knows?
That's pretty awesome. Now, is your dad is he canine or is that just a regular service dog?
No, that's just a regular it's my grandpa's service dog. He My dad did have a German Shepherd, she passed away a few years ago. Oh, man, that was so fun. We always wanted him to do canine, but that was just our at-home dog. He taught her, like, commands in Dutch, and so we got to learn that. But, we, I wanna say about, like, maybe 1 or 2 of, like, my dad's coworkers that were in canine, like, they would the boys all, like, have barbecues and stuff like that growing up, so I would get to see, like, a few of them, but no, my dad never went into, canines himself.
Full blood pit bull, and the other one he is a pit and Australian Shepherd,
Oh, wow.
and very good dogs. They don't fit the stereotypical pit stereotype. They're very loving. They're very kind. So when people say that pit bulls are very aggressive, it's not true. I mean, they're just big meathead dogs.
In my experience, Chihuahuas have been more aggressive than any pit bull that I've known.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had one of those too.
Yeah. Those are interesting little creatures.
Yeah. Yeah. The pit bulls are very gentle creatures, and they don't understand that they're stronger than they are. So when they play, they bite hard, and it's not because they're being aggressive. It's just because they don't understand. So you have to train them to be gentle. I train mine to be gentle, so I could stick my hand in his mouth and he'll just like nibble on my hand. That's how we got him to do it, because he used to bite
Yeah.
and it would be hard, and it would hurt, it'd draw blood, and
Oh, yeah.
so we had to learn how to train him how to bite gently. So when he plays, he doesn't bite hard. So yeah, I could stick
Oh,
my hand
wow.
in his mouth and he would not bite me.
That is incredible. My grandpa's German Shepherd, my kid, they're getting ready to try and sell their house, and so a lot of people, have been, like, coming to the house, doing work on it, and some guy came over to do something to the house, and my daughter just opened the door for him. And my grandparents were in the other room, so they didn't know that he didn't even get the chance to knock. She just saw him walk up, and I was like, "Oh, we're gonna have to talk about that." Um, and so my grandpa's, German Shepherd saw that he was coming up and that my daughter opened the door, and she pushed my daughter backwards and put herself in between my daughter and the guy. She didn't bark at him, she didn't growl at him, but the hairs on the back of her neck were standing up and she was showing her teeth. And my daughter was all like, "Hi." And the guy was like, "No, no, 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 you don't know me. Close the door, close the door." And then my grandpa, like, ran over and was like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry," but just and my grandpa's never taught his dog that. She has just they've gone to school for, getting certified to be a service animal and, do what he needs her to do, but that was never a part of her training. That is just because she's been around my daughter since my daughter was, like, 8 months old, and they've just grown so close together, but you could see in that moment, she wasn't trying to be aggressive, she was just standing her ground like, "I don't know you, and this is my kid. Don't come any closer." But, I mean, that dog is like the sweetest fluff ball that you'll ever meet.
Yeah, dogs definitely have that maternal instincts, especially when it comes to
Oh,
children.
yeah.
That's amazing. And that's awesome that your grandpa's dog was able to do that. And she understood that, you know, this is a stranger,
Mhm,
and
mhm,
this is basically she's saying, this is my child and I'm
mhm,
gonna
mhm.
protect her. It's my little cub, and I'm gonna protect my cub from this individual who I do not know.
Yeah. That is the problem. That's one of the issues. My daughter is very nice and she's very friendly, And I'm like, you gotta understand, you don't know this person. You're saying hi to everybody. So it's a work in progress.
You're gonna do a fabulous job raising her anyway, so, I mean, you'll be able to teach her, the do's and don'ts of life, hopefully.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us before we get off of here? Um, any other stories or anything like that you'd like to talk about?
I don't think so. I did have a question for you.
Go for it.
Because I was, watching your guys' clips and Sarah's and whatnot, but I was just so interested in, you know, you starting this and like what you had, how you imagine this to go, kind of like the vision that you had, and then like kind of where you're at right now, and if it's kind of like aligning, if you had a different vision for it originally than what it is, or if you're still kind of chasing that original idea for it.
Um, when we initially started this podcast, I didn't want to do it. My wife, she talked me into doing it. Well, she didn't talk me into doing it. She just brought it up because, obviously, I don't know if you know how we lost my cousin. He was killed in line of duty,
Mhm.
backing up other deputies. And so it was hard for me because he's family. And my uncle, his dad, was more of a dad to me than my uncle. Him and I are closer than I am with my own father.
Yeah.
So he's like a brother to me. And, my cousin Christy, she's like my sister. So we started this podcast, and it's kind of weird how it started because normally I am not a very social person. I was very introverted. I did not like to talk to people. I kept my circle really small with friends. Like I said, I'm not a very social person, or wasn't. I am now, but I wasn't then. And then at my brother's, or not my brother's, my cousin's vigil, the news reporters were there, and I had offered to go up to speak in my family's behalf because they were, my cousins and his sister and my uncle were supposed to be there, and he didn't show up, but my cousin did, and she was just so emotionally overwhelmed. I just happened to step in for them and speak on their behalf. My cousin's wife wasn't there; she didn't want the limelight, so I spoke at the vigil, and then the news wanted to talk to me. So I was on the news and I was talking about him and how he was. And then, I was telling my wife that we needed to do something. We needed to do more. What can we do to bring awareness, to let people know that, first responders are people. They're people just like everybody else. They have a job to do. They have loved ones, people that love them, care about them, and want them to come home after their shift. Um, And my wife had mentioned, "Hey, why don't you do a podcast?" And I looked at her, I was like, "Are you freaking crazy?" It's like, "I can't do a podcast. That's not me." And she's like, "Just think about it." I thought about it, and I hadn't even made a decision to even do a podcast yet, and I already bought the equipment for it. So, obviously, I made up my own mind.
Yeah, yeah. You made up your mind.
I didn't know how it was gonna go, to be honest. I really did not. I had no idea. All I wanted to do was get the story out there, get it mentioned, and just kinda take it one step at a time, which is kind of, you know, I didn't expect it to go as far as it did. However, we started doing the podcast, and it was in honor of my cousin, and the numbers signify his badge number because, well, it's 81 is the county, 58 is his badge, and that's his call sign basically, and that's the badge numbers they give him. So Hillsdale County Deputy 58, and I I didn't know what to call it. I was like, "Well, what are we gonna call it?" I have no idea. And we had these hats that were made by the sheriff and his family and stuff. And I always carry his tag around with me. And I took my hat off. I'm at work. I'm a truck driver, so that's all I got time to do is think and drive. And I took my hat off and I was just scratching my head and I threw it on the dash and it was just staring right at my face. I texted my wife, was like, I figured out what we're gonna call it. And I told her that's what it is, 8158. And she said, "What about stories of sacrifice?" Like, there we go. We're off and running. Got the podcast going. 9 episodes in, I believe. Uh, the Lex 18 News contacted us and wanted to do an article on us. I'm like, my wife told me that. I thought she was just pulling my leg. I was like, "No, quit it." Yeah. So we did a news article and it was on the news. It played on the news several times in Lexington, Kentucky, because that's where we live. We live in Kentucky now. We're both originally from California, my wife and I. I'm from
Ah,
NorCal. She's from Southern Cal. Uh, we were on the news, and then we started gaining more traction. We were so busy with the podcast that we were having to do 2 episodes a week. We were having to put them out really fast when we first started. It was amazing, and the very first thing that we started, realizing was the mental health issues of the job and, the suicide rates of first responders, so that was a concern. So that was kinda like the main thing that we started running with and trying to get help, and we started connecting with therapists, people that have organizations that help first responders and all kinds of people. So we didn't just talk to first responders, we tried to reach out to people that could help first responders. And I didn't really imagine that it would go as far as it did. And we're still going and we're still we're on season 3 right now. We have over 100 something episodes that we've put out so far. Um, and it also led to other things. And let me tell you something. I did not imagine that this podcast would lead to doing other things. My wife has her own podcast now, and we did another podcast. It was just like a kind of like a scary story thing. It was just kind of like a side project to do. Also, it led us to being DJs on a first responder radio station. It's called the Thin Line
mm,
Rock Station, which that started a whole nother thing. And we started that. We were DJs on that. I'm a DJ on that for 8 hours, 2 4-hour segments, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then it led into her and I starting our own rock station that we brought in other first responders that we met at Mental Health Awareness Summit in Wilmington, North Carolina. So all of our, aside from just my wife and I and my mother-in-law, all of our DJs are first responders. So we're giving them an outlet. We're helping
mhm,
them out that way, and they love it. They love doing it, and it gives them something else to kind of get out of that mindset. And they don't talk about first responder stuff. Now, the other station, they do talk about first responder stuff because that's what it's based on. Then it went even further than that. So now we have a media network that we've created to help people with podcasting and starting radio stations and doing other things. But also, it also led to something else. Another project that I'm working on is doing an autobiography or a memoir, or whatever you want to call it, on myself, on how I got here. So I didn't imagine it would ever come to this. It's like it like totally exploded. It's insane. I could not make this up. I could not make this up. Just one.
you ended up helping so many more people than you thought you were going to.
Yes. And that was the main focus, was helping people. And
Mhm.
that's what we wanted to do. And we didn't realize that it would have so much impact on people's lives. You know what I mean?
That is just so amazing. I love I wondered where the 80, 8158, where that came from. I was like, that is other podcasts, they're always some catchy names, something. And I absolutely love that. I have my dad's first badge number. He's obviously gotten like promoted since. This was his badge number. And I got it Faith Over Fear with the blue line. And I got that for my dad. Um, so I absolutely love, you know, other like badge numbers, like honoring people that way. I absolutely love that. But I think, I mean, it's such an amazing platform that you've given, first responders. I mean, there are very important, deeper, darker conversations, and people don't realize like the toll that it takes on the family of like first responders. I mean, I'm pretty sure I was one of the very few 8-year-olds at my school that understood I'm hugging my dad goodbye to work as I'm about to go to bed. And even though I'm so young, I know that there's a chance that my dad might not come home. And there were there were unfortunately like a few close calls. And, you learn to, again, you learn to adapt, you learn to accept it. I had to accept that my dad wasn't going to be at my high school graduation. That's a once in a lifetime opportunity. You're typically not going to get multiple high school graduations. You're not going to get multiple chances to walk across a high school stage, getting that diploma, having that moment. So having to accept that was definitely a really hard pill to swallow. But again, that was my entire life. I understood. There's definitely things that, even though I do want to keep dispatching and I can't imagine myself doing anything else, I know that there are going to be times where I will probably disappoint my daughter because what the job demands of me. But, just taking the time to explain and asking her to work with me on this, it's something that you'll eventually get through together. But I mean, I've had many, many fellow first responders, when we sit down and we talk about what dispatch is, what we deal with, what we go through, when they finally go do a sit in with dispatch, they realize it's oh man, like I hated dispatch so much. But after you explaining and hearing you talk about it, I see them in such a different light. And that's, the whole reason that I've joined this thing with Sarah and my mom and, everybody else with the first responder training group is I love hearing EMTs. I love the medics, the firefighter boys, law enforcement. Been around in my entire life, but I never grew up listening to a dispatcher, knowing truly what it was that they did and whatnot. And so um I was so happy when Sarah had asked me to join because, she's like, I want you to be the voice for the dispatchers. And so to be able to have somebody like Sarah give me that opportunity, somebody like you give that opportunity, I mean, it's this first responder world has come such a long ways in the conversations that we have with each other and with the community and including all types of first responders.
Yeah, it's amazing. You're talking about Sarah R, correct? Tattooed EMT.
Yes.
We have her on a radio station right now filling in for one of our DJs. Um, so you can listen to her or you can talk to her about it. I think she's doing a fabulous job on there. I'm like, let's keep her.
She's so amazing.
Yeah. And one of the things I did not mention was if you see in the background, you see that decal right there. It's
Mhm,
William
mhm.
H. Bill Butler Jr. Foundation. That is another thing that we had started to help first responders and the families of the fallen. Also to help first responders get into, get paid for their, like give them scholarships for their schooling, books or whatever they need. Um, also, military veterans. Veterans are very important to us because my cousin Bill, he was a 20-year veteran and he retired and he was a 13-year veteran with the sheriff's office. Uh, But the other thing that we do is we wanna help juvenile offenders and help get them counseling and hopefully change their mindset and change their outlook in life so that they can be productive citizens. And if they want to become a first responder, they have an opportunity to take that opportunity. And that's what we're here for, is to help them as well. So we can help try to break that cycle. Like you say, breaking the cycle. That's one of the
Mhm.
things that we like to do, is try to break that cycle with juvenile offenders, because if you break that cycle, then we can help eliminate a lot of the crime that is going on. Not to say
Yeah,
that
it's
we don't.
amazing. I mean, a lot of people, yeah, and like so many people want that same thing, but it's the few that actually take the steps to move towards that goal. That's like so amazing. So I was so interested in, just where you guys had started this, where you wanted to go and whatnot. And I just think that that's so amazing.
Yeah, I didn't imagine it would go as far as it did, but it did, and we're still going, and we're still making it happen, and it's not going to go anywhere for a very long time, I don't think.
No, I do not think. I think you guys are going up and up and up.
Right. And also, we got it in place that if something should ever happen to me or my wife, that somebody else was going to take over and run it for us. We have a good, very close friend of ours. He lives in Montana, and because my wife and I, we used to live in Montana for 20 years, and he is a wildlands firefighter, and he was going to take over for us if something should happen, so that we can continue this and we keep going.
That's so
That's so
amazing.
amazing. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
You got this thing secured. It is going to live on.
Yes. Yeah, we have
Wow,
backup plans,
that
so
is that's beautiful. That for this to
for
just
this to
keep,
just
yeah, be able to keep going even beyond you, and that's like, hopefully something I would love to create with my daughter that I feel like has been created, from my parents through me, is to just have, something that is just continues to a message, a movement or whatever it may be, a mindset that just helps others and is just continuing to go on. I feel like I got that 100% from my parents. Like I said, I feel like my daughter's already showing that, and I just always love the idea of, keep it going, keep it living on even after you, knowing that you put in that work, that it made that big of a difference, that, yeah, even though you're gone, it's still going and it's still going strong. Even well after you is, I mean, you can't really ask for anything better than that. For sure.
absolutely, absolutely. And, it's been a great experience, and we have gotten to know a lot of people and people that we love, and that's why we're doing what we're doing, is that we want to continue to help those people that we love and care about. We need our fire, we need our EMS, we need our law enforcement, we need our dispatchers. We need you guys to continue on and protect our communities. It's very important to us, and we're here for you. So you guys are here for us, and we felt like it was time for us to stand up and be here for you, and that's why we do what we do.
Oh, man, I appreciate that so much.
And you're very welcome. I know we're not like superheroes, or we can't save lives or anything like that, but at least we can be here to, you know, be like somebody to talk to, or somebody to release things, or be an outlet, so to speak. I know that we do have a hotline that is attached to my phone. So if you call the 8158 hotline, and like if somebody's in crisis, like a first responder, if they want to talk and they want me to just shut up and listen, it'll go directly to my phone, and I'll just sit there and
Mm.
listen. And if they want to talk to somebody, I'm here to talk. If they just want to text, they can text.
It's very interesting that you say, you guys may not be able to save lives, but then you just went on to explain exactly one very important way that you potentially could actually help save a life. So you say that, but I mean, by you doing this and like everything else that you guys have going, like you you are you who knows how many you have already saved and how many more you're going to save just by these things. So I mean, you may not give yourself the credit for that, but I definitely do. It's you don't have to, be answering that 911 phone or holding the hose to put that fire out. I mean, you literally just hitting answer on that phone call, and that's all it took for potentially you to save a life too.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Mhm.
You are correct.
You're doing the thing too, sir. You're doing it.
I appreciate that, and, I didn't see it that way. I mean, I just figured I'd be somebody to talk to if somebody would, wanted to talk, but, you bring light to it, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
But, that's pretty much all I have for you today. We do have an off-duty edition. If you ever wanna get onto the off-duty, it's the same thing, 8158, but it's called off-duty instead of stories of sacrifice. Basically the same thing. So, if you ever wanted to get on there and just talk about what you do off duty and how you live your life and just kinda shoot the shit, so to speak, we do have that, and I just had an interview with a couple of our guests. 2 of them, they live on separate parts of the country, and they met on TikTok, and they're both EMS, and now they're like best friends. And had them both on the interview just the other day. So, EMS Barbie and then Maisie.
Oh, I talked to both of them too. Yeah,
Katie, she was over there in, wherever Maisie lives. I think it's Maine or something like that.
New Orleans.
Visit
Yeah, out there.
Maryland, yeah. So she was out there visiting, so now they were both on the podcast together, and, that was
Oh,
awesome. It was
yeah,
awesome
yeah.
seeing
They're
them.
both so amazing and so sweet. I love them both. That is awesome. Yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna look into that. I see that's another thing, like just another outlet, just another fun space created that and I mean, like, look at that, they're able to just another thing that they were able to do together and have fun literally because of you.
Right.
That is amazing.
Yeah, that's what we do, and, we could talk about, what were they talking about? I think it was, Lucky Charms and having a whole pantry full of Lucky Charms because they were picking out the, marshmallows or something when they were kids.
Oh my goodness.
Just silly stuff like that. I mean,
Oh,
oh, they're
I love
riots.
that.
You'll have to listen to that, and, my wife, she'll let you know when your episode will drop. We only release them once a week now because we've kind of had to slow down a little bit. Since we have so much going on, we had to, like, slow it down and, just kinda not give it a backseat because this is the primary thing. This is very
Mhm,
important to
mhm.
me, it's very important to my family. I mean, if you want, just feel free and start listening to the podcast. You can hear my story from my beginnings and why I started the podcast. You can hear my cousin Bill's wife's story, my cousin Christy and her husband because they were friends. And Josh, he was also a veteran as well, and he was really close to Bill. So you can hear all that stuff and all of our guests and all the people that we've had. I don't know if you know who Sheriff Mark Lamb is or Michael Segru or Captain Adam Myers, but they were all on our podcast.
Yeah, it's amazing. I've definitely been taking a peek. I got an hour drive, so Lord knows I got the time for those.
You can listen going into, it's on all the outlets because our RSS feed pushes it out to pretty much every podcast outlet. Apple's, Spotify, what else is out there? Whatever whatever kinda, you know, podcast thing you listen to. Even it's
Mhm,
on
mhm.
Pandora. You can look us up on Pandora. We're on Pandora.
Buddy here gives me so much grief for still using Pandora.
Really?
Yes,
Yes,
I don't
I
know
don't
why.
know
What's
what's
wrong
wrong
with
with
it?
it.
Like, everybody's on, like, Spotify and stuff, and I'm like, "Okay, well." I'm still a Pandora girly, so I don't know.
Yeah. I still got Pandora on my phone. I mean, I have to listen to my station a lot just to make sure that it's running properly, but
Oh, yeah, I'll throw that on the TV, deep cleaning the house, you know? Anytime Rihanna pops up on the TV, my daughter yells that that's mama, and I'm like, "That's right. Yeah, it is." Like, "I'll take it." Yes.
we love and appreciate that you are doing what you're doing and you're helping your community, and that's awesome, and we love that. I know you're in California. I see NorCal. I know what NorCal
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
I'm from Oakland, California, so I know what that is.
Mm, yep, I've got plenty of units out there.
So anyhow, I will let you go, and hopefully you'll come back and you'll come back on the off duty edition.
Yes, most definitely, that sounds amazing.
You'll be able to be at home and you'll just be chilling and relaxing and not have to worry about going back to work.
Oh, yay, back to work. No, yeah, no, I definitely appreciate you. Thank you so much. It's been so fun. It's been great. Just again, yeah, thank you for the opportunity and the space and platform that you've given not just me, but a bunch of other first responders. I think it's so amazing what you've done.
I appreciate that, and I thank you for that. It means a lot, and because we don't see the effect because we're not out
Yeah.
there, but listening it and hearing it from our guests and other previous guests, it means a lot to us because we don't see what we're doing. We just do it.
Mhm.
We don't do it for the kudos. We just do it because we genuinely love what we do and we genuinely love our first responders and we want to help. So
Yeah.
I
No, I
think we're more than
appreciate
just a
that.
podcast to me.
Oh, 100%.
But anyways, I'll let you go. When you get home, you can enjoy your little baby girl. I know what that's
Yes,
like.
yes,
I
yes.
got two of them. They're older brats now. I'm almost 50. Believe that.
Wow.
I don't look
I
like it,
would
but I
not have, but that is amazing. Good for you.
hopefully my daughters get my genes and they stay looking young.
Yeah, let's hope that. They're gonna blame you if they don't.
Right.
But thank you so much.
You're very welcome, and I appreciate you having you on here. Everybody, this is Frankie. She is a dispatcher, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Well,
Thank you,
actually,
you
you're
too.
3 hours behind us, so you're still in the
I got a
afternoon.
whole day still.
Oh my gosh. All righty. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, you too. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on 8158 Stories of Sacrifice. Every story we share is a tribute to the courage and resilience of first responders and their families. If this episode impacted, encouraged, or inspired you, please subscribe, leave a review, and share with someone who supports first responders. Follow us on all social media platforms at 8158 Podcast for updates. 8158 Stories of Sacrifice is a team effort. Rico brings the stories to life through casting, writing, original music, and editing. Brianne Shipley as production manager, handling booking, social media, graphics, promotion, marketing, website management, and logo design. Please visit our website at 8158podcast.com. For questions, collaborations, or to share your story, our email address is contactus@8158podcast.com. Until next time, let's continue to honor the legacies and remember the sacrifices of those who serve, every brave man and woman on the front lines, protecting and defending us all. This is Rico signing off and honoring 8158.